Did you know a single tomato plant can produce up to 10 pounds of tomatoes? Imagine growing those tomatoes yourself, even if you've never gardened before. In today's episode of Don't Do This Guide, we're diving headfirst into the wonderful world of gardening. Before we get our hands dirty, let's talk about why you might want to grow your own garden. There's something magical about picking a ripe tomato or snipping fresh herbs from your own garden. It connects you to your food in a meaningful way. Plus, growing your own food can be surprisingly budget-friendly. Gardening is also a great way to connect with your community. Swap seeds with friends, share tips, and maybe even have a garden party. Now that you're inspired, it's time to dive into the exciting world of garden planning. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or a complete novice, planning is the key to creating a thriving garden space. Start by envisioning what you want your garden to look like. Do you want a vegetable garden, a flower garden, or perhaps a mix of both? A successful garden starts with a good plan. Measure your space accurately and consider the layout carefully. Think about the flow and how you'll move through the garden. Find a spot that gets plenty of sunlight, at least 6 hours a day. Sunlight is crucial for most plants to grow strong and healthy. Consider access to water and protection from the elements. Make sure your garden is close to a water source and think about windbreaks or fencing to protect your plants from harsh weather. Decide what to plant based on what you and your family love to eat. Growing your favorite vegetables and herbs will make your garden more rewarding and enjoyable. Think about the mature size of your plants and give them room to grow. Proper spacing is essential to prevent overcrowding and ensure each plant gets enough nutrients and sunlight. Sketch out your plan on paper or use a garden planner app. Visualizing your garden layout helps you make better decisions and avoid common mistakes. Don't forget to think about vertical space. Trellises or raised beds can maximize your growing area. Vertical gardening is perfect for small spaces and adds an interesting dimension to your garden. Imagine beautiful vines of tomatoes reaching for the sky, creating a lush and productive garden. Or a cascade of fragrant herbs that you can use in your cooking, adding fresh flavors to your meals. Now that's what I call good design. With careful planning and a bit of creativity, you can create a garden paradise that you'll enjoy for years to come. Now let's talk tools. Every good gardener needs a few trusty tools. A sturdy trowel is a must-have for digging, planting, and transplanting. A good pair of pruning shears for snipping herbs and harvesting veggies. No garden is complete without a watering can or hose. For larger gardens, consider investing in a garden hose and sprinkler. Water deeply and less frequently to encourage strong root growth. Don't underestimate the power of a good pair of gardening gloves. They'll protect your hands from blisters, dirt, and prickly stems. So gather your tools and let's get ready to create something beautiful. Now comes the fun part, getting our hands dirty. There's something incredibly satisfying about feeling the earth between your fingers and knowing that you're about to start a new life in your garden. It's a moment of connection with nature that many gardeners cherish. But first, we need to give our seeds and seedlings the best possible start. This means selecting the right seeds and seedlings for your garden's conditions. Consider factors like sunlight, soil type, and climate when making your choices. It's always a good idea to read the seed packets or plant labels for specific growing instructions. Healthy soil is the foundation of a thriving garden. Rich, dark soil full of organic matter provides the nutrients plants need to grow strong and healthy. If your soil isn't quite up to par, don't worry, there are plenty of ways to improve it. Start by removing any weeds or grass from your garden bed. Weeds compete with your plants for nutrients and water, so it's important to get rid of them before you start planting. Use a hoe or your hands to pull them out, making sure to get the roots. Use a garden fork or tiller to loosen up the soil. This helps to aerate the soil, allowing roots to penetrate more easily and access the nutrients they need. Loosening the soil also improves drainage, which is crucial for preventing root rot and other issues. Add nutrients by amending your soil with compost or aged manure. Compost is a fantastic way to enrich your soil, as it adds organic matter and beneficial microorganisms. Aged manure is another excellent option, providing a slow-release source of nutrients that will feed your plants over time. Once your soil is prepped, it's time to plant. Whether you're planting seeds or seedlings, make sure to follow the specific instructions for each type of plant. Proper planting depth and spacing are crucial for giving your plants the best chance to thrive. Read the seed packet for planting depth and spacing guidelines. Each type of seed has its own requirements, and following these guidelines will help ensure that your plants have enough room to grow and access the nutrients they need. Some seeds prefer to be sown directly into the ground, where they can establish their roots without being disturbed. Direct sowing is often used for plants that don't transplant well, such as carrots and radishes, while others benefit from being started indoors. Starting seeds indoors can give you a head start on the growing season, especially for plants that need a longer time to mature, like tomatoes and peppers. Use grow lights to provide the necessary light for your seedlings. If you're planting seedlings, gently remove them from their containers and place them in the soil. Be careful not to damage the roots, as this can set back their growth. Dig a hole that's slightly larger than the root ball, place the seedling in the hole, and fill it in with soil. Firm the soil around the base of the plant and give it a good watering. This helps to settle the soil around the roots and provides the moisture the plant needs to start growing. Watering is especially important in the first few weeks after planting, as the plants establish themselves. And there you have it. You've officially planted your first seeds. With a little care and attention, you'll soon see your garden come to life. Now that your plants are nestled in their new home, it's time to talk about watering. Overwatering can be just as detrimental as underwatering, so it's all about finding that happy medium. Stick your finger about an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, it's time to water. Water deeply, soaking the entire root zone, and avoid getting the leaves wet. Different plants have different watering needs. Veggies like tomatoes and cucumbers need more frequent watering, especially during hot weather. Herbs and drought-tolerant plants can handle a little more dryness. Watering in the morning is best to prevent fungal diseases. Just like we need a balanced diet to thrive, so do our plants. Fertilizing provides essential nutrients. For beginners, start with a balanced all-purpose fertilizer. Granular fertilizers release nutrients gradually, while liquid fertilizers are absorbed quickly. Slow-release fertilizers reduce the need for frequent applications. Fertilize every 4 to 6 weeks during the growing season. Remember, it's always better to under-fertilize than over-fertilize. Too much fertilizer can harm your plants, so start slow and adjust as needed. Let's talk about those pesky critters that like to munch on our gardens. These little invaders can cause a lot of damage if left unchecked, turning your beautiful garden into a battleground. Garden pests can be a real nuisance. They come in many forms, from tiny aphids to larger caterpillars, and they all have one thing in common: they love to feast on your plants. One of the best ways to prevent pests is to create a healthy garden environment. This means ensuring your plants are well watered, properly fertilized, and spaced correctly to allow for good air circulation. Strong, healthy plants are less susceptible to pests and diseases. When plants are stressed, they become more vulnerable to attacks from insects and other pests. Introduce beneficial insects into your garden. These natural predators can help keep pest populations under control without the need for chemical pesticides. Ladybugs and lacewings are great for controlling pests. They feed on aphids, mites, and other small insects that can harm your plants. Attract beneficial insects by planting flowers they love, such as dill and fennel. These plants provide nectar and pollen that beneficial insects need to thrive. If you find yourself battling a pest infestation, try insecticidal soap or neem oil spray. These natural remedies can be very effective at controlling pests without harming your plants. These natural solutions are effective and safe for people, pets, and the environment. They break down quickly and don't leave harmful residues. Hand-pick pests off your plants for larger pests like tomato hornworms. This method is labor-intensive but can be very effective for small gardens. Regularly inspect your plants for signs of pests and take action as soon as you see them. Early detection is key to preventing a minor issue from becoming a major problem. Now that our gardens are growing strong, let's talk about keeping them that way. Pruning and weeding are essential tasks. Pruning helps remove dead or diseased branches, encourages new growth, and improves air circulation. Use sharp, clean pruning shears to avoid damaging your plants. Make clean cuts just above a leaf node or bud. Weeds compete with your plants for water, nutrients, and sunlight. Use mulch to suppress weed growth and retain moisture in the soil. Pull weeds up by hand when the soil is moist to get the entire root system. Regular weeding will prevent weeds from taking over your garden. All right, we've planted, we've watered, we've weeded, and now it's finally time to enjoy the fruits and veggies of our labor. There's something so satisfying about plucking a ripe tomato or snipping fresh herbs. How do you know when your produce is ready to harvest? It depends on the plant. Tomatoes should be a deep red color and slightly soft to the touch. Herbs can be harvested as soon as they have enough foliage for use. Once you've harvested your bounty, it's time to enjoy. Use your harvest to create delicious meals or preserve it for later. Share your extra produce with neighbors, friends, or donate it to a local food bank. Savor the flavors of your hard work. So there you have it, a beginner's guide to growing your own garden. Remember, gardening doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be yours. Embrace the process, enjoy the journey, and don't be afraid to get your hands a little dirty. Gardening is a journey, not a destination. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more Don't Do This Guide episodes. And don't forget to share your gardening adventures with us in the comments below.